Hey there YouTube, Raj here, and I am back with a review. This time I'm going to be talking about a fragrance from the brand Fragrance du Bois, fragrance of woods, and specifically this one is called Parisian Oud. I picked up a sample of this one when I was in Bois in their store in Paris, going back a couple of years ago, so I've had this sample for a long time. It sometimes happens, you just have so many samples, you can't get through them all. But in this colder weather, I've been wearing this fragrance. Really enjoying it. I've always enjoyed this one. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a rundown of this one. So if you go into the Bois boutique, they do fill up these samples for you, quite generous, and you can either buy them online or if you go into the store, they're kind enough to give you some for free, which I think is really, really nice. Probably not a good idea to go in there and take advantage and get like 10 samples. I don't think there is a limit, but you know, 3 or 4 samples is never a bad thing. Parisian Oud. Now, this fragrance is expensive, and if you know about Fragrance du Bois, you'll know that this brand comes at a cost. I'm still sort of getting to know the brand a little bit more. I've tried a few of them. Yeah, I can't really comment on all of them, but it's a lot of money. I do feel it is a lot of money. Okay, so going into the notes of this one, what they've tried to do is kind of like a fresher take on oud, but it still comes across as quite incensey, and I think incense is the dominant note in this one. So in the top notes, you have almond, cardamom, grapefruit, fruit, and pink peppercorns. Heart note, there's geranium and rose, and in the base notes, you're gonna get quite a heavy base of amber and incense and moss, sandalwood, oud, and leather. So this is one of those that is a cool weather fragrance, cold weather fragrance. But you know what, even though I've never tested it in these conditions, sometimes these types of fragrances perform quite well in heat. And if you think about it, a lot of people in the Middle East wear these types of fragrances where almost year round it can be very, very hot. And sometimes these types of scents can actually surprise you. This is a very, very long lasting fragrance all day. Projection, I found after about an hour or so, it did become a little bit closer to the skin, but still very, very noticeable, like that's for sure. Yeah, definitely on the masculine side, but I could see a woman pulling this off, no worries. I think you have to like slightly more bolder scents. Yeah, so it's called Parisian Oud, and I think what they've tried to do here is create maybe a bit more of a gentlemanly style, oriental, or maybe not oriental is the right word, but this kind of Middle Eastern, Arabian style fragrance, but maybe more suitable for the Western palate. Which, to be honest, I think the Western palate actually is changing a lot as we have brands from the Middle East getting introduced to this country, oud becoming a lot more known, and maybe people are taking a little bit more risks. Who knows? So what I get with this fragrance, and I've done a fresh spray, I actually get the oud from the beginning, and it definitely has a touch of skank, but it's measured. It's just a touch in there, and it's surrounded by this quite amazing incense note. I really get that. There's a lot of notes here like grapefruit and almond, geranium, rose. I don't really get a lot of that. I do get this slightly peppery pink peppercorn freshness with a freshness of the incense. Incense I never find really to be too intense. It has a fresh side to it actually. And if you're a fan of, I think it's by Kilian's Incense Oud. I think it's Incense Oud. There's some strong similarities there. Definitely one of the ouds by Kilian is very, very reminiscent, I think, of this one. But the incense is smooth and it's very luxurious. There is a sweet side to this fragrance actually, which is a really nice touch that I think comes through as the fragrance develops after a few minutes, which I really like. There's a very warm ambery feel here. I feel a lot of the base notes actually come out straight away and start performing. As the fragrance starts to develop, a lot of this boldness starts to fade away, which I think is a bit of a shame. And you're left with a very skeletal, structure compared to the opening, which is a bit of a shame because a lot of these heavier notes, like the oud doesn't really hang around. You're just left with a kind of like, it sounds a bit harsh, but like a basic incense. Like incense is, if you smelt like Comme des Garçons range of incense fragrances. The by Kilian that I mentioned. If you've tried Bois d'Incense by Armani Privé, Sahara Noir, was it, by Tom Ford, which is now discontinued, you'll pretty much know this fragrance, especially in the dry down. So it is nice, but it does tend to lose a bit of that power, that kick in the opening. I've done a fresh spray, so I am getting a lot of that, a lot of it there. It's a very nice fragrance. I like it from start to finish. I can't help but think that the Armani Privé, the Bois d'Incense, I'm pretty sure that's the name, is just basically a better option because it's much more cheaper. This, I don't think I mentioned the price, but 100 ml sells for £595. There is, I believe, a 50 ml. I haven't seen one, but I know that they exist in the other ones. And there may be a serum pen, like a 3 ml serum pen. So they do make it more like accessible, kind of. I'm not sure if those two versions exist in this one. Is this a £600 fragrance? I don't think so. Like there's, I look at it on a cost per ml basis. £6 per ml is a lot of money. The ingredients are really, really nice, but I don't think there's enough oud in here, which, they get from their own organic farm in, I think it's Malaysia, which is quite nice, actually. They replant their trees every time a full bottle is sold. I think that's what I've read on their Instagram page. So I like the whole concept. I'm not sure there's enough oud, which is expensive, to justify this price tag. And there are some heavier notes in here. There's a fresh, spicy quality in here, which I really, really enjoy, but I don't think it's worth the money. I really enjoyed this sample, but there are other fragrances that I also really enjoy on the same level that cost a fraction of this. So yeah, I'm not so sure about this one, but I am going to give it a rating of 8 out of 10, which I think is a good score. So guys, have you tried this fragrance? What about other fragrances from Fragrance du Bois? They seem like a pretty cool company. I do kind of like everything that they say, and they're like the marketing side, the creative side, and I think there's some good stuff there. And there are some cheaper fragrances there. I think £200 is maybe for 100 ml is their cheapest, but I'm sure there's a lot more quality that I'm looking forward to trying, to be honest. So guys, let me know your thoughts. Like, comment, subscribe, check me out on Instagram, you know the drill by now. And yeah, whatever you have to say, say it. Thanks for your support. I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye.